All righty. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to McBean's Cottage Fitness. Appreciate you stopping in when you get a chance. It is Wednesday, and I had to kind of correct myself on that because I had to get up really early in the morning, like 2 o'clock in the morning, and do something and went back to bed. For some reason, I had thrown myself off a day. And I thought yesterday was Wednesday. Boy, was I disappointed when I got to work. But anyway, so yesterday I went and did arms. I threw some legs in there. I don't know if I posted that video on Facebook yet. I think I did. But I didn't post the entire video on YouTube. Just about time I said, I'm really going to relax a lot on YouTube just because I'm not getting the views and they're not paying the money and all blah, 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 blah. All of a sudden I have a few of my short videos that got some attention. Go figure. So basically, you have any questions about health and fitness, mostly nutrition, how important sleep is. I see a lot of opinions on Facebook, mostly, some on TikTok and that, but you have a lot of people that have strong opinions about one way or another, but they don't use the word opinion. And I try to use the word opinion. I try to say, listen, this is what I think. This is how I see it. You can agree with me. Great. If you don't, great. You may want to do some of your own research. Nothing wrong with that. I always invite people to research anything that you see on social media and try to go 3 levels deep. So what do I mean by 3 levels deep? Well, sometimes the best misinformation is based off of a true statement, but draws an incorrect conclusion. So I won't call the guy out by name because it's been a while since that person has done it, but someone made a statement that you don't need to eat protein because your body, your liver, produces all the protein your body needs. So does the liver produce the proteins your body needs? Yes, it does. That's a true statement. How does it do that? Well, it combines amino acids to make those proteins. Oh, interesting. Where do those amino acids come from? Oh, that's the meat and the chicken and the fish and all the proteins that you eat. So the person made a statement and tried to say there was no discussion with this. Well, there's always discussion. When people say there's no discussion, then they're wrong, because they don't want anything bouncing back on them. So anytime you see any information out there in anything, take it 3 levels deep before you'll actually find the truth. Also, I always call it the rule of 72 hours. Anytime there's a new event out in the world, I wait 72 hours before I have an opinion, because the information almost 100% of the time that's put out there is either extremely biased or it's completely false. So they want clicks. There's a lot of misinformation out on the internet on everything. And I know that people used to say, oh, put it on the internet because people will believe it just because it's on the internet. And I think for some people that's true. I don't believe it on the internet until I can sit there and research it and get different sources. And when I find out most of the stuff out there is mostly false. So my idea of health and fitness is there are 1,000 ways, if not more, of getting in shape. And what works for you is probably the best way of doing it. There are many variations on how to do exercises. Hand position, where it's at, narrow, medium, wide grip, reverse grip. All are going to sit there and change which muscles get activated. And when somebody tells you, well, this exercise doesn't do anything for you, that's a lie. Every exercise. Anytime you're contracting muscles, you are exercising, and it has a benefit. Now, proper form is important. But people have so many opinions on that. Not one rep was done. You're doing it wrong. All this stuff. Ignore the clowns, okay? Because that's what they are. They scour the internet so they can spread their stupidity. All right. If there's zero heroes, what I mean by that, you pop in, you go on their profile, and they've got like 3 friends or maybe 12 friends or whatever. I just block them. All right. You're not even worth my time. We know what you are. All right. You have no life and you need attention, and negative attention is attention. So here you are. Don't bother with them. Don't let them get you upset. I know people in the past let trolls really get them upset, and that's what they want to do. And I just say, stop, block them. Stop following them. Stop looking at their content. All right. Remove yourself from that environment. All right. When I go into somebody's page and I see their page is nothing but one message, all down the page, and then I block them. All right. Because you don't have an open mind. You have a closed mind. All right. Basically, you are just a tool of a political party. All right. You don't need to be here. We're here to talk about fitness, nutrition, and enjoying life. And the best way to enjoy life is to have a life. So having a life means that you go for walks in the park. You have hobbies. You plant gardens. You sit there and read books. You exercise. You sit there and learn new skills. You go out and enjoy yourself with friends and family. You do things that you find enjoyable. You spend your time that positively reflects back on your enjoyment to a certain degree. All right. I feel sorry for the people who think they are on a quest. I don't have a life, but I want to save you from this. No, you're not. Stop. Get a life. Enjoy your life. Right? Enjoy it with others. Stop being a tool of a political party or whatever it is. I mean, I see people wasting their time, wasting their lives being angry. All right. I get off the angry channels, unless it's the Angry Prepper. Jason, I watch. He's funny. All right. And he gets it pretty direct sometimes. But I like to watch, like the Body Beatdown, because, like me, he's really into fitness and that. And even though he struggles with a lot of, physical and some mental issues, he keeps at it, and he keeps driving, and he keeps improving. So he keeps me motivated. He's the reason during the summers I go for walks. Why sometimes when I don't feel like it, I go work out anyway because I know he'd do it. So these are things that, you need to go out and exercise even when you don't feel like exercising. That's the best time to do it. Body in motion tends to stay in motion. The body at rest tends to stay in rest. If you're sitting in the lazy boy, and I always say it's called a lazy boy for a reason, chances are you're not going to get anything done that day, nothing productive. A lot of times it's write a little plan. Right? These are the simple things I want to get done today. Something easy and something productive and something that moves you towards a goal. All right. So, yesterday I cleaned up this room, got it all set up for my social media, and I went and worked out and I went to work. Those are my goals. Stopped and got me some more eggs for my shake and more milk. Little goals. So you feel like you have little accomplishments. Another thing is you can't let people get into your head. I let that happen yesterday at work. I shouldn't have. All right. One person's a really, really crybaby, and he's whining about something, and I changed what I was going to do because of that. So instead of grabbing a certain sort of transportation device because that person was crying about it, he has no reason to, I used a different form, and I had some product get broke. And I was just, that person, I was mad at myself because I let them change my habit, and I should have. So don't let somebody change what you're going to do. Don't let somebody discourage you. There are people out there that just want to discourage you. I was watching this show with the wife, and it's fiction, but it really made some sense where the one character, the girl, was building a boat, and she was really impressed how well she was doing. But she was spending a lot of time doing it. It's one of those things you really get zeroed in on it, so you really go at it. So the school counselor is going, great, they're slipping a little bit. Can you tell me what you're doing? What do you think you're good at? She goes, well, I found out I'm good at building boats. And he ridiculed her. You're not good at building boats. That boat won't float. And all of a sudden she went back, didn't want to build on the boat anymore because this adult gave her some really bad advice. This adult, somebody that was supposed to be like I said, it was fiction, but somebody was supposed to be in a encouraging role, discouraged her. And then you had another character, her friend, he walked in and he goes, oh, you must have talked to so-and-so. He's got a coffin where everybody's dreams die. And he told him how, he had ruined his mojo and stuff like that. And so sometimes you have to realize people are out there just to try to break down your mojo. Don't let them. All right. As long as you're continually working towards a goal. And understand, goals go like this, up and down, but eventually they increase. There are times when you have setbacks, injuries. You didn't lift as well as you did. You didn't have the same mindset. You had a lot of things in your personal life that was really, deflecting you from it. But the thing is, you got to keep pushing through it. You got to keep going at it. And that's my advice to you. Just don't stop. Keep going at it and keep pushing towards your goals. I use, lifting as my goal because lifting makes me feel better about myself, which makes my mental state work better. It helps me deal with stress, and it gives me something to look forward to. And to be honest with you, it doesn't bother me when I go to a gym and I'm lifting and I get the positive feedbacks. People go, wow, yeah, I'm really impressed that you can do this, or I get feedback online, I'm going back here and I'm working out again because of what I've seen you do. And that's the goals I want. I want you to go out and get yourself better, get yourself in better shape, both physically and mentally, and enjoy life more. I go out one day during the week, usually it's Saturday, the wife and I go out and enjoy ourselves. We listen to bands, we engage with people we know, we get outdoors, we hike trails, we go out and live a life. Because Monday through Friday, we're working. All right, we still work for a living. Sometimes it's Monday through Sunday. But when I have time off, I'm going to do something fun. All right, I'm going to go out and enjoy ourselves. We take vacations. We go explore this great nation we have. And it is great. If you don't think it is, move to some other nation for a couple of years to get educated. All right. The problem is we have people that life is so easy. As hard as you think it is, life is so easy compared to what was 100 years ago. We invent things to be oppressed about. All right. You're not oppressed. All right. Get to work. Make a goal for yourself. All right. And start enjoying life. That's my message to you. Enjoy life. Be good to yourself. Spoil yourself. And then you'll find out that you'll be happier in life, and then you'll be able to deal with things better. That's my morning message. Those of you popped in briefly in that, appreciate it. Those of you who hit the thumbs up, appreciate that. Understand this is not one of those big exciting rooms throwing lots of heavy weights on it. Those videos will come out later. But this is a good avenue for you to ask questions. If you didn't do it in live chat, you can do it in comments. I do sit there and look at my comments later. So remember, rest, nutrition, proper exercise, hydration, and just get in the gym and lift.